I'm glad you called back. Hold on.
That's okay, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, this is Lisa. May I help you?
Hi Lisa, this is Kimberly Corson, and this is a recorded call. I have called you, I have left messages for you, and you have not returned my
Yep,
calls.
and I called you back last week, but your voicemail states that you are a federal or state employee to not bother leaving a message. Therefore, I didn't.
Okay.
Hoping you would call back.
Okay, well thank you for that. So,
yeah.
Thank you
so
for...
what can I help you with?
I would like to know, I filed back in January against Jeff Eaton.
Did you get my correspondence back to you?
No, ma'am. Listen, this is what's going on. I just received... I
know.
I just
That's
received...
what I was afraid of.
Yeah, January...
Hang on, let me just pull out all of your paperwork here. So it's incomplete, and I need more forms from you.
Okay, now
different cases.
Okay, now Lisa, let me just explain something real quick to you.
Yeah.
January 26th, the judge signed orders again. He heard. It took over 3 months for them to act on something that was filed October 5th. January 26th. No, January 27th. I apologize. I had called and I spoke with Elizabeth. She's at the Rutland office at that time, and she told me that the judge had just signed orders and that she was sending it to 2 of my mailing addresses. I said, hold on. I was there December 17th in person. 1, to give a corrected mailing address, as well as I've been receiving mail from you people at my corrected mailing address before January 26th, and she still proceeded to tell me I was a liar and didn't send it to me. I just got what the judge signed January 26th. I just received in the mail today.
At what address, if you don't mind me asking?
109 Railroad Street, Apartment 7, Island Pond, Vermont, 05846.
Yeah, see, that Island Pond address was new to us, so I was really hoping that was going to be...
Well, see, and that's been in there. Yeah, I came over in person. It was like a blizzard. December 17th, I came over in person and I filed it, as well as I asked for the other stuff. Now, I had received the copies of the mail that I sent back, a copy when I said Jeff Eaton called me a liar on that. And so I sent that copy of the letter that I had received addressed to Mr. Oswald II. I shouldn't have received his mail. And so the other thing is, I received paperwork I got a copy from my United States Postal Carrier up here in Island Pond. They verified for me that on November 19th, I put in a hold card, okay? Hold my mail. So it's in their system. Now, on November 23rd, there was a picture of me and my service dog on front page of the newspapers stating that I was running for state representative 2020. On November 26th, I have copies of mail that you people even sent me that says a yellow sticker, forward, return to sender, no forwarding address. So that started happening 3 days after it was publicized that I was running for state representative. So that canceled.
Do you have a copy of the postcard you gave him? Because to me, it almost sounds like they may have.
Oh yes, I've got copies of everything, and I've requested that FBI check into this because what it was organized crime, and when they did that, that canceled my right to even vote in the state of Vermont. And it canceled my right to start campaigning for state representative. Then they came and they stole my house trailer and my car. That's why I had to ask for reconsiderations on everything I filed. Judge Crawford has violated my rights and due misconduct due to the fact that he was continuing to dismiss cases that, obviously, if I'm filing $83 billion in lawsuits, there's a reason. And somebody doesn't just file that and disappear, okay, unless the law is trying to kill them. Now, I was threatened criminally by the cop in this town Saturday. Verified surveillance and everything. He came up to me and threatened my life. I also, on November 4th, when I filed all this stuff in 2019, they took my phone at security and said that I couldn't have it up there. Well, it has all my evidence, all my personal identification copies of my license and everything on that, okay? And I came over again. I called and asked them to send it to me immediately because I had forgotten to get it when I left. I called them. They said they wouldn't mail it. I've been there in person. I came again December 17th when I was able to get back over there and asked for it again in person. They gave me Jim Darling's number. He's never called me back. I have all this recorded. I've asked. And there was one tall, bigger man. He looks like Mr. Clean with a shaven head downstairs, security. He told me that I know what you're talking about. They said a lady left her phone here and she'd be back for it. And now my phone has disappeared. Okay? All my information has been diverted back. They did a lot of stuff to me, and I've got people looking into it. I've got the director for the Vermont Law School involved. I have filed misconduct charges against the Vermont State Police and their internal affairs because they continue to deny me any kind of investigation into my claims when I have creditable witnesses and surveillance as well as pictures. They stole my home and car off my property that had all the copies of everything, all of my evidence and everything, okay? I had to go and retract all this evidence to refile these cases and ask for a reconsideration. Jeff Eaton did not put that in for a reconsideration. He only filed it. He didn't have it acted on until I started writing and complaining and asking why and filing misconduct. And that's what you said you need more forms for me to send or sign.
Yep. So
I need to know who do I file with.
So you were filing 3 cases. And let's take each one, and I'll tell you what's missing.
Oh, I've got those. I've got those filled out and waiting to get the stamps to be able to send them back to you. And that was Mary Hare and Jeff Hare.
Oh, so you did get the letter.
Yeah, that one. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking you were talking about...
I thought you said you didn't get that letter.
No,
dated February 12th.
No, I did get that, but the other stuff... Okay, so the other stuff from Elizabeth... Is that her name, Liz?
Elizabeth?
That works in the Rutland office? Okay. She's the one that sent me the mail to Barnett and to Bellows Falls address is what she said. And I said, you can't do that. I've got... those are my 2 old addresses, and the Bellows Falls was only a temporary, but I came in person on December 17, 2020, and handwritten sent in my request to change my address, and I've received mail from you out of Burlington since December 17th. So why did she not utilize my Barnett address? I mean, my Island Pond address. She sent the things to my previous addresses when, again, you had just sent me envelopes in January from Burlington.
Well, I think it's because at the time that those were remailed, there was confusion as to what was your address.
No, there shouldn't have been any confusion because, again, I was there in December.
She sent it to all the addresses just to be certain you received it so you wouldn't run into
they just
any
sent that.
problems or miss anything.
No. They just sent to Island Pond this week the copy of the judge's rulings from January 26th. They did not send it to my address in Island Pond.
Which case is that one? Do you have the case number?
Yep, you hold on. I got them right here. 197, 198, 199, 200, 201, 202, 203, 224, and 220.
What's the number in front of them?
I'm sorry, 519
Is it
CB.
19 or 20?
19.
All right, there we go.
So I need the forms to appeal his decision and the misconduct against him because even when they, I had filed, let me tell you, the one against the PFAs, the 2 PFAs, those were supposed to be injunctions. They were not filed as so, and they were never set for fair hearing. So that's a misconduct charge that I want against Mr. Crawford as well as Mr. Eaton, and that as well as Elizabeth. So I need all the forms to do that because I'm filing. That's what I sent in, and I'm questioning why have I not heard anything on them, because I sent
so
in.
So misconduct for a judge is done through the Second Circuit, and I'm just looking to see if there's anything.
When you received the filings against Mary Hare, Catherine Piper, and North Country, in there was a stack of filings, misconduct, a copy of a envelope addressed to Mr. Oswald that should not have come to me because it was actually addressed to him, and it was supposed to have gone to New York prison, but it came to me. And Jeff Eaton called me a liar.
I don't know how the heck that made it to you when it's addressed clearly differently.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't know how many pieces of mail anybody has sent me that I didn't receive, because I certainly didn't receive any from the courts. That's why I asked reconsideration. And then Elizabeth wants to screw with my mailing address. And Jeff Eaton wants to call me a liar, and I don't appreciate that. I was a Quaker out on missionary duty and fighting for my life as well as fleeing for my life, because Mr. Crawford and Jeff Eaton did not file my injunctions properly. Therefore, they did not set them for a fair hearing after they were denied, because they were only dismissed. Therefore, I want those reinstated. I want those injunctions to be heard.
I think the court issued an order that they're not. Let me just see. That's not the case, because I was trying to find something on the circuit. But they were dismissed for the reasons stated in the opinion and order.
Yeah, they're thinking that I was a malicious act of fraud. So they defamed me, and I have proof to back every claim. And again, because they denied it, and they didn't deny it, they just dismissed it. So therefore, they filed it improperly, denying me my rights to protection, violating my constitutional rights. I leave state because I fled for my life on missionary duty as a Quaker by religion and belief, and they continued to set dates and stuff that I wasn't aware of, and my mail was being diverted back. So they should have known something was up. If you were receiving my mail back in December and such, as return to sender, no way to contact the petitioner, then they shouldn't have been continued to set court dates. Right? That's a no-brainer.
Well, when you represent yourself, it's your responsibility to notify the court if you're not available. But I did make them available.
I did make them available. I did make them noted that I was not available. I put it right in my filings that I was on missionary duty and fleeing for my life. That's why I filed the protection from abuse orders that they dismissed without setting for a hearing. They didn't deny them. They dismissed them because
the protection of abuse order is done through state court, not federal court. Oh, I've seen that. Do you have access to the internet?
I do, through a friend of mine, because and that's another thing. Why didn't I get anything back? I should be e-filing. I should have had an account set up for e-filing. I requested that in November of 2019, and I requested it again when I filed the paperwork against Mary Hare.
Did you fill out a registration form?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I did back in November 2019, and then that's why I questioned it. Why was I not recognized for e-filing?
Something Jessica handles.
And do you see my request that I sent in about, my letters of concern and my misconduct letters that were sent in with the 3 filings? Because those should...
Yes, I have those.
Okay.
So on the Second Circuit's website, there are instructions and the rules that apply to judicial conduct.
Okay.
That you would have to follow through with those. There is a link off of our website to the Second Circuit, and then it's under the Judges tab.
Okay.
And it's called Judicial Conduct.
Okay.
So that's where you would address that with.
Okay.
As for the other part, so you're saying that this letter, let me just, let's see. So the letter, let's see, you got a letter to, so that's not a complaint on its own that you're filing. That's more of misconduct you're stating.
Complaint and misconduct. I want both of them filed. I want it filed against Elizabeth, Judge Crawford, and Jeff Eaton.
Okay. With your tax returns?
Yes.
So for that packet, then, we would still need to have another IFP application, the affidavit in support of, notice of pro se appearance, and a civil cover sheet for that packet, then.
Okay, so can you pop those in the mail to me, please?
Yep, let me just make a note here.
Also, if you have
and I'm mailing this still to the Railroad Street in Island Pond.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, and
Okay.
if you could send me some self-stamped envelopes because my waiver of fees has been granted. That's my reason for I don't have 23 cents to my name to go with a quarter to be able to buy a stamp because that's how bad they've got me down and out, okay? This is all.
We can't do that. We don't have stamps.
They don't have pre-stamped envelopes there because I shouldn't have to, again,
Right, yeah. That's
I'm the
not
one.
something that's part of.
Yeah, well, I've
IFP.
had my filing fees and everything have been waived, so it's violating me
For the
by making me
filing
have
fee
to
and
send
the
them.
cost of the filing, but it's not for all this, for mailing things in and whatnot.
So
It
then
doesn't
what?
apply to that.
Okay, so that's why we need to make sure that this e-file is activated because this is insane.
Yeah, but just so you know, you won't be able to e-file the case initiating documents. Those still have to be sent to us traditionally.
Right.
Then once your case is open, then you can e-file.
Correct. I understand that
Okay,
from last
okay.
year. Yep. Thank you for
So-
reminding me, though.
I'm going to mail you an IFP app, the affidavit, civil cover sheet, and a pro se appearance form. Okay. And you got the paperwork, the other paperwork for the other cases?
Yes, ma'am. I will be sending
Okay,
that out
okay.
this week. Yep.
Excellent. So I will hang on to these. I will consider, I will hold these for another 30 days from today.
Okay.
So.
And the
I
other
won't
thing
return
I have a
anything
question
prior.
about is I want I want to file motion to modify and change of venue to Supreme Court.
Motion to modify
the judge's orders and change of venue to Supreme Court,
Okay.
Washington, D.C. Because of conflict of interest with the judge here at Second Circuit Court.
Okay. So you'll want to include that with your paperwork so we can put those on.
Do you have those forms or do I need to find them?
We don't have those
Okay.
forms. That would be something you would prepare.
Okay.
Let me just look at your letter here. Just see if we can get something out of
Because, see, I already wrote those, request and change of venue and conflict of interest.
Well, that's why I'm reading here to see.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be right back. I need to swap this battery out so I can continue to talk. I'll be right back. Thank you kindly. I have a pacemaker, so I have to stay a distance away.
So let me ask you this. Your letter that's dated January 28th,
Yep.
and you've written your case numbers on there.
Yep.
Are you just saying that those are related cases? Are you saying that the request for change of venue, conflict of interest, request for investigation is in that case, or is that part of this is like a new complaint and that's part of it?
No, that's what I want done. I want all the cases that I have filed, change of venue, conflict of interest, and I want them investigated and misconduct against Judge Crawford as well as Jeff Eaton. Motion to modify, change of venue, I want it all. I want my cases up to Supreme Court, Washington, D.C., out of the vicinity of the state of Vermont, because the conspiracy and the organized crime that has happened against me involves Homeland Security, Border Patrol from my town, as well as Vermont State Police and their detectives. So therefore, I will never receive a fair trial in the state of Vermont. I can't even get an FBI agent from our field office to talk to me because they are all tied in together, and that's a fact. I've proven it through court hearings. That's why the cop in this town came up to me Saturday and told me I better watch myself because he's got a hit out on me. And that's part of my protection from abuse order that I filed, Lisa. If you read through that, you will see I need that phone number. It's a 617 number. It came from a call that a guy said he called me on August 16th. At 10:38 in the morning and reminded me he was the same one that was after me the year before when I thought I had a problem with Social Security Administration. I hung up on him because I already knew what time it was, and he called me 3 more times. And you got to remember, my cousin got assassinated for doing the same thing, which was standing up for his rights and ours as well. Okay, and they have organized this crime. It's a government organized crime conspiracy against me involving the Vermont State Police and all of the workers, right from Social Security Administration, Department of Human Services, and all of them have roadblocked me from being able to do anything. That's when my mail started getting diverted back 3 days after it was advertised in the newspaper I was running for state representative. There is no way or rhyme reason behind it that states otherwise. This is a fact. They have organized a crime against me. It started in 2007 when they came at me with a fictitious warrant of abandonment, and I proved my case, and that's why we have filed so many in your court, is because the Vermont State Police, I have a copy of it right here in my transcript from the court of a Chins case, they wrote a false statement and filed it with the court in order to get a warrant and come take my children right from me off from our land in Massachusetts. So they got a warrant in Vermont and they took my daughter. So they basically, what it boils down to was illegal kidnapping. So they have not only on my filing here in Vermont, I'm filing in Massachusetts, and every state that was involved in kidnapping my child that she had to go through from Massachusetts to the state of Vermont. And they put my daughter with a detective of the Vermont State Police who was not even a registered provider. Okay, this has all been conspired and nobody will look into it. That's why I filed civil lawsuits.
Mm-hmm. So your letter of January 28th.
Yeah.
Are you wanting this as a new civil case by itself, or are you wanting this in the existing cases?
I want it in both. I want it in the existing and a new case.
Well, we can't do both because that's duplicative.
We'll do it in the existing.
Do it within the existing. So then that case, I do not need to send you additional forms.
Okay.
Because that was under the notion that was a whole separate case.
Okay, so no, that was
some
intended.
of your letters regarding the judicial misconduct pieces,
yep,
those would need to go through the circuit.
Okay.
Do you want me to just set these aside? Do you want me to return them?
If you would return them, please, so I have a copy of everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to backdate that to...
Lisa, I have received February 19th from a fraud investigator for economical services that they're now investigating the fraud investigator who put me down as fraud, and I was able to solve that case. I got my court file and I proved my innocence, and they've been sanctioning me for 3 years saying I committed food stamp fraud. I am not a fraudulent in any way, and this has been sickening.
So it looks like we received that letter on February 8th. So I'm gonna backdate your request for change in venue
Okay.
back to then, just so you know, and wonder why it's so late. That's because I was seeing it as, wasn't sure if it was a separate complaint, just
Okay.
judicial misconduct, what that piece was.
Okay.
Um,
And if you can look in that PFA that I filed, and give me that phone number so that I can send that.
and where is that? In which piece?
That was the protection from abuse order that I filed against the government.
I didn't see one.
The statement of claim that they dismissed instead of setting for fair hearing. Because they put it down as a civil matter, and that's not what it was. It was a complaint for an injunction, protection from abuse. And right after I filed it, I fled for my life because nobody would help me.
And is it in this paperwork I'm holding aside, or is it something already on the docket?
It's something already on the docket that was
okay.
dated. I dated it November 19th when I sent it out. So it should have been November 21st or something. I think it was number 224 or number 226.
So 19 to 20.
519, 224, or 26.
A motion for reconsideration dated October 5th. Let's do that. Or you said 226?
Yes, ma'am. Whichever one says PFA, me petitioner against the government and the devil, the government, all of the employees, and the devil on behalf of myself and my service dog.
Service dog is the 226. See if it was attached to you.
And those are the two that are very prudent that they get refiled and either denied and set for a hearing, but they need to be filed because, again, I was confronted by a cop threatening my life in public. And
Protection from abuse. And I don't see a phone number there, Kimberly.
Yeah, in the filing of the complaint, I entered the phone number. I put that on August 16th of that year, I had received a call. I was driving down the road 10:38 in the morning, and that's one of the reasons why I filed the protection order, is because I about froze driving down the road. And this guy calling me on my cell phone that nobody had my phone number. And then again, in July of 2018, my counselor had called me. No, July of 2017, I'm telling you. I apologize, the date there. My counselor had called and told me, Miss Crossan, they're after you. You need to be careful. And then he wasn't allowed to counsel with me anymore, and he was through mental health services run by the state. And now they can't find out why he was taken off my case, but they called and told me that he could no longer counsel with me. And then they sent me and said that I was doing no call, no show on appointments when they're the ones that canceled me out. So that's all under investigation.
I'm not finding anything. I've looked through both cases, through the complaint.
Nothing, you don't see anything handwritten in there?
No. No phone number.
Does it, you read through where it says that I was contacted by a hitman?
Danger of further abuse. forced from home. Cruelty and mistreating plaintiff and her dog and all other parties related to and friends with the plaintiff and her dog. But no phone number. Let me just look through the IFP stuff and see if maybe it got written on here.
Yeah, because it was an area code 617. And that phone that they kept from me has that message, all the call logs on it from that time, as well as my emails that have been canceled out. My email addresses have been canceled out. I can't access them in any way, and those are the ones that went to the phone that they kept downstairs in security. And that's the stuff that somebody needs to be helping me with this, and nobody will listen. I mean, that right there is fraud and a crime that the security officers hindering and aiding and abetting and keeping my phone. That's a stolen phone, obviously, if I've complained about it and I've requested it back and they refuse to give it to me.
Nothing. There's a Kimberly KDHowes420 at gmail.com, but no phone number.
See, it wasn't my listed phone number. I put it in my complaint.
I'm looking through everything. Just to see if it got written somewhere.
Yeah, I was just letting you know. That's where I filed it, was in the statement of complaint.
Nothing.
Well, who types that stuff up?
What do you mean typed it up? I'm looking at the paperwork you submitted.
Oh, that I submitted. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking through. And I'll look at the case in between.
I have a fair hearing. They just sent me a letter. I have a fair hearing March 9th at 1 p.m. in regards to the lady that filed fraud charges against me. And that's economical services. And I already filed that. See what I'm saying? They're investigating her now for me. I have a hearing on it with economical services, and these are the people that I filed federal charges against for violating me, and the judge is dismissing it.
Right, but they don't know about the case because your cases didn't get that far.
And there's a reason why they didn't get that far, because of misconduct by the judge, and that's why we're here today filing.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to. I don't see that phone number. I'm going backwards on your cases. I'm at 223.
Okay, that's fine. I'll find it somewhere. It will. There's a will. There's a way out. It will come up. It will.
Right.
It will prevail. So, I do promise.
Just to recap, I'm not going to mail those forms because it turns out that you want that paperwork to be filed in the 4 existing cases that are written on it. And I set it aside here. So it's 224, 226, 202, and 203.
Yeah.
And then I'm just waiting for your paperwork back on these 3 other cases so we can proceed with those.
Okay, and you'll get those this week. And I'm just waiting on your paperwork so I can proceed with the other filings.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so if you can please make sure that you send me complete packets for new filings as well for civil non-prisoner like I've just filed due to the fact. Yes, thank you. And the other thing about the e-filing.
I can patch you through to Jessica, or did you want to fill out another form?
Can I fill it out online, or do I wait for it in the mail, or?
You can print it from online and then mail it to us.
Well, how about you just put it in the mail to me and I'll print it?
Yeah.
I'll fill it out and send it right back. Awesome. Thank you very much,
okay.
Lisa. Yes, thank you kindly.
All right, Kimberly, you have yourself a good day.
You as well. Thank you.
All right.